Hello, guys. So, I'm very excited about this Friday. Fantastic. Um, why? Because anytime that Spirit inspires me to go live with you, I get excited. There's so much that I learn. So happy May 28th. I always jump ahead and I don't have my readers on. This is the week of the full moon. I know some of you saw my live video on Wednesday, which was the day of the full moon, the 26th. And we're talking about letting go of things, people, places, things that aren't able to receive the nutrients we have to give. And Spirit says to me earlier, I'm working through my leadership series, 16 lessons in leadership. And we are rolling into lesson 15 next Thursday, which is character. Last night it was lesson 13 or 14, which is joy. It was very interesting what Spirit said. And so I'm putting notes together. I'm going through stuff, and as I'm aligning and making sure everything on the website is matching, Spirit says there's just so much to talk about leadership. There's so much. And I took some notes down because I get to channel, and some of this stuff is powerful. When Spirit speaks, we have to listen. When Spirit speaks, we have to listen. When Spirit speaks, we have to listen. That's where we get inspired. At this point, guys, please, let's take the religious, all the fear-based hell and high water shit out of this, because our happiness is hinging on it. And if that stuff would have worked for us up to this point, it would have worked for us up to this point. So Spirit says leadership is the experience of. Leading is the opportunity to, period. And I know a lot of people think leader as like work. Fine, let's use work to talk about chain of command and leadership, all right? Leadership is the experience of leading. Think of the leadership around you. And if you work from home and you're the only employee, think of leadership in terms of the medical field, or your county, or your government, or your family, your finances. It doesn't matter where we are called to thrive, right? We're either leading or not. I complain to God, and God says within April, be a better leader. It's kind of like the older child that knows better. And at this point, guys, we do. At this point, we do know better. We have to remember that anything good comes from a space of vulnerability. If we do not ever allow ourselves to be vulnerable, how are we ever going to, or when did we ever not experience something good? We could call it risk-taking. Even in corporate America, risk-taking is very important. Intuition is more important. Leadership is the experience of leading. It's the experience of. What is our experience telling us? Are we proud, happy, excited, exhilarated, thrilled? Most of us want to be. Leading is the opportunity to. We get to lead. It's an opportunity. Spirit says it's an opportunity. When we show up with sarcasm, worry, and doubt, never is it an opportunity. We don't treat life like an opportunity. And this is where most people start to jump off, because people say April talks about deep stuff, right? Well, we can't go to the core of things, guys, and enjoy, I-N-J-O-Y, our year of receiving, if we aren't willing to be vulnerable and transparent with ourselves and go to the places within ourselves where we're blocking the receiving. I watched a great video with Brene Brown, and she says that when we have a low tolerance to vulnerability, joy is foreboding. Foreboding, like to show up and like automatically bring the negative, like, oh my God, it's the worst case scenario. It's horrible, horrible, horrible. Protect, protect, protect. And what's odd about this, guys, is it's really every moment. If you think about it, our society trains us to bring guilt and worry into every moment. We call it pre-planning, right? We almost set ourselves up to reach really high bars that maybe we're not prepared to reach, or maybe those bars aren't ours. Most of us are suffering and struggling because we keep trying to conform to other people's form of leadership instead of being the leader we are called to be ourselves. Think of that. It's like our soul will hear this stuff and our soul goes, oh, I needed to hear this today. Yes, we're here to lift each other, right? Leadership is an experience of. And if you read, I think I posted some of it in here, or if you go to aprilroan.com under events and you'll see the details for lesson 15 for next week. Spirit even does a whole channeled thing on character, and technically says, and by the way, this is also where you discover your God. Not his God, not their God. In other words, at some point, receiving and like totally slaying this life experience means, number one, we need to embrace and accept that change is a part of this. It's an automatic part of the plan. We cannot change. It is the one given part that we can rely on. But we also have to be willing to catch who's showing up in the present moment when things are changing. Remember, so much of us is showing up in the present moment. The wounded warrior, the inner child, the leader, the one that's ready to just live her best life. You know, we've got to be willing to grab all of those parts to be transparent with ourselves. You know, I know this is crazy stuff, deep stuff, but when God has to beat us over the head with the reality that we're making this harder than it has to be, you know, we get so frustrated. Well, we got to be clear with what and who our source is. You know, we want to be inspired. We want to feel better. Where do we think that's going to come from? It will never be an outside job. It will never be something that money will fix. We are convinced money will make us more comfortable. But I know many, many people who are very, very wealthy, and they're very, very angry at God still. You know, I love watching numbers because we'll have 11, we'll have 15, we'll have 5. You know, we can't, and it's not that I'm worried, we can't be worried about where people are being called to jump in or jump out of our life. If you think about it, our whole life really is a live video. It is ongoing. Big Brother is watching whoever you think Big Brother is. Spirit doesn't need you to be transparent. Your God doesn't need you to be transparent for God's sake. Your source needs you to be transparent for your sake, because then you will know where to invite in your spiritual presence. Hello, I need help, right? If we don't allow the ambulance to come when we're bleeding, we're going to bleed out. Think about that. But it doesn't mean the ambulance and 911 is not circling the house. They can't stop until you tell them what house number it is. So a lot of us are bleeding out. We've had enough, but we're not allowing our resources to get to us. Why? Because so many of us have been raised in an environment, people, places, and things that have taught us to bleed out. It's just what you do for the sake of the company. I've seen so many directors be so proud that they work until 8 o'clock at night, and then they answered emails at 1 o'clock in the morning because they couldn't sleep. Work was on their brain. They were the very ones that were let go eventually, and they had to build their life up again regardless. Making more money and becoming the leader is not the goal. Never is, never will be. That implies that there is an ending. There is never an ending. Right when you get comfortable in the relationship, something else shows up. You are a constant transformational being. You are meant to be changing. If not, the baby would never be born. The egg would never hatch. Change is a part of life. It's a necessity. You breathe that air in, let's share a breath. You exhale, you let it go, right? There's this natural transaction of oxygen and molecules, and we're not even aware. We don't care. But change is happening. We can't push against it and expect our experiences and our opportunities to be delightful. If you read that bonus channeled message from Spirit, so much of it is embracing, allowing. How we embrace, how we allow change is really our character. In fact, our character is us. It literally is something to be celebrated, something to be admired, not something to be built. Think of that. God, source says, hello, your character, don't need to build it. It's something that needs to rise. All of a sudden it feels good, and we feel guilty for feeling good because source is talking to us. We feel seen for the first time. Come on, guys. At some point, we've got to be willing to see the wounded parts in us, blocking the love because we're scared. We cannot be scared when money has our name on it. We cannot be scared when we finally can afford all of those clothes we've wanted to get, or the makeup we wanted to have, or the relationship we want. I mean, we want all day long to feel better, to feel seen, and Spirit shows up all the time seeing us, and we're upset. We can't receive and pout. You can't be happy and frown. Try it, frown. Try the muscles. Do it, frown. Do it, you can frown. You feel it. Frown, and then tell me how good today felt. It felt so good. No, you're going to feel your energy start dropping. You got to take a breath, right? Energy, build that up. And then you smile a little bit. Smirk a little bit. You may find you're a little more comical. You know, body language, your body says everything. You have got to be willing to be present in your experience for the sake of you, because of you, for you. It is all about you. And when you're able to show up in that present moment and claim it and allow it, you will find your source. You will find your character. You will feel happy. You will message me, oh my God, this was so easy. And I will say, I know. I held space for you for 4 years in readings, and your guides finally got through. Life is difficult. Life is difficult. Life is hard. Change is scary. How we choose to allow our source to flow through us changes everything. How we choose. Again, we say words that we don't even realize we're saying. Words have power. That's why they call it spelling or magic. You know, really, they're just words. What's magical is the intention behind them. So that's why when we sarcastically say, yeah, you know, you're smart, the universe only knows the vibration behind the chosen words. And so many times we're using words that are limited and they're not really reflecting how we're feeling, or we're using words that aren't reflecting what we want. We're using words that are reflecting how we're feeling. I'm scared. I'm scared. Spirit said to me the other day in channeling, and it was so good. I will share it with you. Guilt. Here we go. Guilt has been the big, beautiful backsplash of this week. Spirit says, through journaling, I write it down, quote, guilt is the vibration through which fear expresses itself. Hold on, my readers aren't on, guys. Give me this girl a moment. All right, guilt is the vibration through which fear expresses itself. Guilt is the vibration. Guilt, the emotion, the feeling. I feel guilty. I want that. I feel guilty that I'm mad at you. I don't know how to say it. Guilt is the vibration through which fear expresses itself. And Spirit reminds us that wherever fear is, change is happening. It's not questionable. Change is happening. We're afraid, right? Fear. I'm not afraid. I'm strong. Okay, that's a defense mechanism. Let it go. It isn't serving you. It's blocking the love, guys. I don't care if your love is showing up as a nurturing spa day, or your love is showing up as a manicure, or is it self-love, or it doesn't matter at this point. Feeling good is just feeling good. And as we're watching so many of us around us are passing away, we are doing the great pilgrimage back home. And we're not dead. There's so much going on over there. But you and I are focused present tense in this body right now, which is the only place where the magic can happen, which means whomever is showing up, wherever is showing up, it is all about you. You are either you focused or you are them focused. And when we are them focused, we cannot ever lead them and lift them and focus on our purpose, which is always to love. We have to be us focused first. We've got to make sure that we know who is showing up in our energy. Is it the inner child that we're bringing to work and allowing to lead the group? Yes, it is. That's a problem. You will never, and if this is a leader in your family or at school, teachers, I see teachers, grown women act like 3-year-olds. You will never be a reputable leader when you are leading from fear, ever. Ever. You are teaching littles to lead from fear. That's what we're doing. And the problem, guys, is this next generation, they know better. They know much better, more better. They are already doing better. So it ain't about them anymore. They're literally like, cats land on all fours. This next generation does. I don't know how it's happening. Fascinating. And we're still in the running because we're still here, which means this is importante. It's important. It is important. Why? Ask yourself today. I am willing to tolerate vulnerability. I don't want joy to be foreboding. We're trained to push against joy. It shows up, it's taken away. That income tax check showed up, it's already spent. It's almost like, why do I want to allow myself to enjoy, I-N-J-O-I, something that's not permanent? I hear you. But if we don't learn, I always say present tense sloppy, if we don't learn how to allow ourselves to enjoy the good things, we're literally going to be removing ourselves from the experience, which means we won't be experiencing it. Awareness is everything. We always say, focus on the good. Focus. Where we focus, where we choose to focus, how we choose to focus is everything. It's the rudder of your boat. It's the rudder of your boat. It's where you are going. You're looking at so many people, and ourselves included, who are coming up to the awareness. So many people waking up right now. I even saw someone on YouTube called Woke Nation, and I thought, whoa, really, the higher self in me was very excited. But, we're waking up, many of us, but so many of us are old souls. We've been awake. So we're like, oh, they're awake now. I'm exhausted. We're bitter, guys. We're bitter. We're so tired. We're so pissy that they're showing up and everything. They're like so happy to learn about breathing. If we're busy, we won't be able to receive peace, ease, love, food, comfort, joy. What, baby? Would you like to say hi? Come here. We have to be, I call us the hybrids. We have to be willing to take responsibility for where we are. Where are we? Are we tired? Are we in pain? If we are in pain, how long have we been in pain? Now, are we still in pain because we're avoiding it and neglecting it? Because that has been what we have been taught to do. We've literally been taught to ignore our pain, deal with it. Do you know that depression, more people deal with depression on a daily basis than we believe statistically? Most of us deal with the funk. We deal with it. We create lives around it. It isn't okay. That's never been okay. We're not here to live in funk and be depressed. I can be depressed more than you. I can handle it much more than you. No, depressed is still out of balance somewhere. And it's not, I got to do more in other areas. It's, I've got to surrender in all areas. When I'm frustrated, when I'm angry, when I'm upset, it's too much. It's too much. You have to listen to your body. Then you surrender in all areas. You literally go to bed, take a bath, take a shower, go for a car drive, put your radio on, put your radio off. I mean, you guys, if at this point you don't know what soothes you, here's your lesson. You know, so many of us get so mad and we're like, here's all the details. And Spirit goes, soothe yourself. We don't know how. We don't know how to be in the moment if it's quiet, if we're happy. Gypsy, how do we handle being happy? Have you ever just sat in the moment? Period. Catch yourself wanting to interact, check your phone, prepare, defend, be on guard. Gift yourself the moment, in this moment. And then make a decision from there. Relax. So much of this right now is automatic, out of your control, way out of our control. Breathe that in and out. I mean, remember, divine timing is real. Law of attraction always happening. Our source present, whether we feel it or not. Loving always. Being provided for. If you weren't, you wouldn't be here. You would have starved or died with that breakup in 1982 you were sure was going to kill you. You know, we've got to learn to pick our feet up and swing. You know, if we came here for the experience, let's experience it. Let's enjoy the sunrises and sunsets. You know, look at the character that's showing up. How is pressure? What comes out when life squeezes you? Anger? Okay, good. I need to learn how to soothe, nurture, and get some anger management. Easy, all of us. Okay, can we go now down? Is Gypsy time done? Yeah. A lot of people want us, need us, expect us. But we were never born for them, and we will never die for them. It is a solo experience first with our source. All right, guys, I want you just to let some of that marinate. You know, it'll pop up when you're cooking dinner or something. You'll be like, wow, that was cool. I invite you to watch my lives. You can go to aprilrowan.com, or if you're watching this on YouTube, subscribe. I also invite you and ask for you to please share. So many of you do share, and I thank you. But I would like to expand and bring some of this good stuff to more of the masses who are awakening, so you don't have to. All right, I love you. I admire your journey. Listen, if you were not fierce, you wouldn't still be in the game. Keep that in mind. All right, guys, I will see you later. I'll talk to you later. And I think we're good. Please remember to breathe. That's how you fuel up